Welcome, Julie. Welcome, everyone, to Connecting the Dots, a PTC Early Childhood webinar. I am Kathleen Gibson, Early Childhood Specialist here at PTC. Thank you all for joining us today to learn more about the resources available to help you or the families you serve pay for childcare. I'm excited to have our friend Julie Green here with us today to help us connect the dots and answer our questions. Julie is the ChildCare Aware of Virginia Resource and Referral Manager for the Eastern Region. Julie brings over 36 years of experience in the childcare field, working in all settings as a home provider, preschool teacher, preschool director, religious exempt, and in a Head Start setting. She comes with a passion for early childhood education, helping the providers provide the best possible care. During the presentation, submit your questions through the chat box located in the controls near the bottom of your screen. We will answer those throughout the presentation. If you have any questions about your child's specific situation, special education, and/or additional resources available, I can reach out to you via email after the presentation, or you can contact PT directly at partners@pt.org. Julie, let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm so happy to have you all here today. It's kind of weird because I can't see you, and that's not normal for me. But we're going to talk about subsidy, which actually is one of the greatest things I think that our state has really moved forward. Sorry about that. Let me go ahead and turn that off. Move forward with in providing much better services that are available to our families now with the COVID and the increase in need for care out there. So one of the first things I really want to start with is that you can go to commonhelp.virginia.gov to be able to find the resources to be able to start your application to become, to be able to participate in the subsidy program. The subsidy program has expanded the eligibility requirements to allow for up to 250% of what the medium range is in Virginia. So really it's really expanded it a lot. So if you're a household of two, you can have a maximum gross monthly income of $5,040. So, and that just goes up astronomically as your family grows, and the number that you have in your family, the amount of gross monthly income has truly increased as well. So that's where I really wanted to start before we move forward. The eligibility requirements too have also expanded when it not only financially, but you can be looking for a position and be able to qualify for subsidy assistance. You can be going to school and then you could qualify for subsidy assistance to help you with childcare as well. If you have a child that has disabilities and your child is 14, you can qualify for subsidy assistance. Your child can up to the age of 18, as long as they live with you and you're the one that is applying. So those are really great opportunities for us. And the expansion. Now up that child care age up to 18, if you have a child with disability, that is not new. That is something that has been around. So I wanted to make sure that we brought that out into the forefront. So that way everybody is aware. I also want to say that the state of Virginia in 2014 with the Child Care Block Development Grant also increased the requirements for those centers and family day homes that are participating as subsidy vendors. Their needs and their requirements for being able to participate as a subsidy vendor have risen as well. The state wanted them to really concentrate on quality childcare, on affordability, and then also on the expansion of what that quality looks like. So now there's background checks that are required. There is health and safety trainings that are required yearly, that are, there's a 10-hour course that is required at the onset of becoming a subsidy vendor. And then they have annual trainings that are required as well. So we all know that quality childcare then also comes with a cost. And that's where currently our state of Virginia is really working hard to help offset that cost, because we want quality childcare. We feel that quality childcare is needed for every child. And so Subsidy helps to make sure that every child has an opportunity to be able to participate in high quality childcare. Kathleen, I see something in the chat box here.
Yes, I was just posting that childcare eligibility now includes job search. So
not only that, let me also say too that copays currently are being subsidized as well. So if there is a copay that has been assigned, it was being paid for by Virginia Department of Social Services until the end of December. It has now been expanded where they will pay copays until the end of May of 2022. So that also is really a great benefit that Subsidy is working, and the state is working on, to make sure, again, that everybody has that opportunity to be able to participate in quality childcare. I want to share my screen just a little bit here.
we should be able to do that.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, great. So if you were to go to the Common Help, I wrote it down so I didn't forget it, commonhelp.virginia.gov, and you chose child care assistance, it would take you to this page. And this is what this page would look like for you to be able to qualify or to apply. You can actually check to see if you're eligible right online. So that way you don't have to make any phone calls or anything else. You can just check right online to see if you are eligible to be able to participate in the Subsidy program. And then you can also click on the link that'll take you straight here. It's doe.virginia.gov, and this is at the Child Care VA website too. Click on parents and it would take you right here if you were to look for Subsidy on that line. And so they've got basic eligibility requirements that you can look for, which really talk about, are you actively employed or engaged in a job search? Are you participating in a training or an education program? Do you receive child protective services? Do you participate in activities for the Virginia Virginia Initiative and Education Work Program? Do you participate in the SNAP program? All of those things to help you determine whether you have eligibility. The application here's the apply online or screen for eligibility. There's some great videos, some quick resources. The application comes in Spanish as well, so that helps. And then there's also a spot here where you can click to help search for childcare as well. You can also call 1-877-KIDS-TLC, and they will also help you. They will do a much more in-depth childcare search for you. So they'll actually call around in the areas to see, do you take Subsidy? Do you have spaces for an infant? And then they'll, once they locate several of those, then they'll send that list to you for you to be able to view and to look as well.
So Julie, did you say the 877 Kids TLC number will actually look or help you look and find childcare providers that accept the subsidies in your area? Oh,
Yes.
That's fantastic. I have a few families who are looking right now and they were told to do it on their own. And I don't know that I knew that the 877 Kids TLC did that. So thank you for sharing.
Yes, yes, that is ChildCare Aware of Virginia.
Right.
That'll take you there to them. And we do what is called, well, what is it called? Can't remember. A deeper dive into it anyway. So expanded referral service is really what it is. And so, yes, we will pick up the phone and we will call in that area. You give us a zip code area, you give us a general area, and then we can look and locate. So that, and what we'll do is we'll try to find 4 or 5, whether they're family day homes, whether they're a center or religious exempt, whatever your needs are, and the type of care that you're needing as well. So we really do that expanded referral services. Fantastic. It helps because there's a lot of calling. If we give you the whole list of 75 people that are in your area, that's a lot of calling that you have to do for them to say, no, we don't have space.
Right.
So it really does help narrow that down much easier for you as the parent.
Yeah, and I was aware, and many of our families are aware of the ChildCare Aware finding. I don't know that we knew that they would call around to help us as well. We did have a question, and I don't know if you know the answer. For the income requirement, are they going off your most recent tax return or current pay stubs? And is it possible to qualify for only child care assistance and then be ineligible for other DSS assistance programs? I can answer the second question. Having been a family member of this, the answer is yes. You can qualify for child care assistance and be ineligible for other DSS assistance program. As far as the income requirement, I do not know the answer to that question. Julie, do you?
I do not know the answer to that question neither. I do know that you do have to show 2 pay stubs. But I don't know if that's the only requirement or if they do require your tax return. Obviously, tax returns have a differences because we may have lost jobs, changed jobs, or whatever. So I would encourage you to talk to the case managers in each of your cities to be able to find that information. 1, to find that information, but 2, they can help navigate through some of those harder questions and be able to help make the connections where needed to be made. There was something here also. Yes. So once you submit your application, if you do this and submit this application online, it'll take about 30 days at the max. They have, Subsidy has allowed them 30 days in which to be able to review your application. There is a lot of applications that are going through the system right now, so it could possibly take up to those 30 days. Generally speaking, it doesn't usually take that long, but it could possibly, just depending on where your area is and the number of applications that are coming through. I know there's a lot of applications for centers and family day homes right now that are applying to become Subsidy vendors. And they have to be a Subsidy vendor in order to be able to receive children that participate in the Subsidy program. So within the next, I would say by the end of this fiscal year, or at the end of this year, this calendar year, by the end of December, we should have probably a large influx of new vendors out there. I know that I do the orientation training, and my orientation trainings have become very full for those brand new providers. So that helps to open up the door for more children to be able to come into the program as well. Also, if you are eligible and approved for services, your local department will authorize the child care with the participating child care provider. So they'll help you do that. Actually, and at the bottom of this page that we're on, you can do your own search as well. So you can put in, if you know somebody or a center, you can put in the center name, you can choose the location. So let's choose one that I'm aware of. So we'll go Newport News. We'll go Blue Ribbon. And we want them to be a Subsidy provider. And we can do the search. I don't know if you'll be able to follow that. Did my page change?
It did.
Okay, yay.
It did. And just for everyone who's participating, I will send you a copy of the links as well as the resources available to find providers online, and as well as the phone number for ChildCare Aware of Virginia. A really great question. Thank you, Heather, for asking.
I don't know why Blue Ribbon is not coming up. So that might be part of what the problem is when people are out there looking too, because I know that they had some problems with the web pages when they transferred over to DOE. So maybe that's part of the problem, but I do know that they are an approved center. All right, let's go back to here.
There's many
Did my-
different ways to search, and you can check the box that says that they are a subsidy provider, because not all child care centers are.
No, not all child care centers are, not all family day home providers, but there is a large number out there. Again, they do have to go through a process themselves in order to become a subsidy vendor. Not everybody is automatically approved just because they are up and running. They do have to go through an application. They have to meet certain requirements for health and safety standards. And then they also have to take some additional trainings that are required as well. So again, that goes back to everybody is entitled to quality childcare. I wanted to bring us back to the commonhealthvirginia.gov. So this is actually the beginning page right here. And if you scroll down, here's the child care services. And if you click on that, then that takes you over to the Child Care VA website. And that takes you straight down to the subsidy application. There's an information sheet there. There's English subsidy resources, and then there are Spanish resources that are available on there as well.
I think you already said this, but just to kind of give you an idea, and I think you mentioned this at the beginning, Julie, was a family of 4 can have a maximum monthly gross income of $7,412 a month. So it's pretty significant.
It is pretty
covers the
significant.
majority of our families in Virginia.
It does. It does. It has. I have had a lot of providers that, again, were not participating in the subsidy in the subsidy program, and then they have come back and they've said, you know, I've got people who are now asking for us to participate. We've never had that before, and I told them that because subsidy has changed their eligibility requirements, that more families are able to participate. And so it's a great thing for them to be able to become a subsidy vendor as well.
All right. Well, if we don't have any other questions, Julie, I really appreciate you coming today. I think a few takeaways that I have taken is just, understanding that, those of us who have children with disabilities, that we may be eligible up until our child turns 18. If we do not have a child with a disability, it's under 13. Is that right? So yes. Through age 12, is that correct? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that I was right, Julie.
Yes.
All right. Which is pretty significant for many of us who weren't aware. So I'm going to send, to answer your question, Anna, I'm going to go ahead and send all of this information out to everyone. We do post this information and share ChildCare Aware and ChildCare Virginia information on social media. So that's pretty big. That's a large portion of how families find out about it. So to answer your question, and I just think continuing to share on social media, continuing to share in newsletters, because it's those of us who are on the ground who are talking to families, that's how they're going to learn about it. So thank you for asking. Julie, thank you for connecting the dots with us on the expanded childcare subsidies, as well as sharing information on how to find a childcare provider. That was very helpful. What it is, how it works, and even how to apply. As I mentioned, I will follow up with an email this afternoon to everyone who's in attendance. Also, I do want to put a plug in for the Early Childhood Academy. It does return in February. We're very excited about that. Early Childhood Academy is in collaboration with the Virginia Department of Education. It's a free online learning course for parents and caregivers of young children from ages birth to age 6 to learn useful tips and ideas for supporting their child's development, and resources available to help them along the way. Sessions are completed at your own pace, anytime, day or night throughout the program. You can visit our website at www.pc.org or check out the PC Early Childhood Facebook page for more information. Thank you all again for joining us, and I wish you all a happy, healthy week. Thank you.